thrilling, exciting, even exhilarating. As such, rock climbing has become popular among youth. But what if you had to climb every day of your life? Until recently, this was reality for people in a village in southwest China's Sichuan province. Sitting on top of a 1,600-meter bluff, this village is dubbed the Cliff Village. Residents had to climb down an 800-meter precipice to go to school, the hospital, or the market.
This is next to the route we used to climb. We made ladders with rattan and sticks. They'd squeak when we stepped on them. We mostly worried about the elderly and kids climbing the ladders on their own. We had to carry them.
Why was this place even inhabited? It's because survival has never been easy. Hundreds of years ago, when war and bandits plagued this land, this cliff raised their hopes. But when the world outside thrived with modernity's arrival, what was once their shield became their barrier.
Any very large economy like China is always going to develop unevenly. China lifted, by World Bank standards, 860 million people out of poverty. Now, the main way that it did that was through economic growth. But the last 50 million can't be dealt with in the same way. There you need micro-targeted measures.
Building roads was the first step to ending the village's isolation.
In
2016, the prefecture and county officials visited our village. They proposed building a steel ladder. All the 6,000 steel rods, weighing over 120 tons in total, were carried up by the villagers. That's how we built it. Let me show you the toughest spot. With a rope around my waist, I explored every move forward tentatively to see if we could set up the ladder here. Look how steep it is.
With the steel ladder, the village had its own base station. Mo Salabwa filmed his daily life and uploaded the videos to the internet, attracting attention from netizens who dubbed him the flying man on the cliff.
Most importantly, it's more convenient and safer for villagers to climb up and down now. Also, thanks to the steel ladder, our infrastructure has improved, with more stable power and water supplies, a 4G network and broadband. Since the completion of the steel ladder, we've seen an influx of tourists. Our homestay revenues are increasing too.
Now, the villagers are comfortably settled and well supplied, as expressed by the ancient Chinese concept of Xiaokang, or moderate prosperity. But it wasn't enough.
It's also important to consider that poverty is not only income related. Poverty is actually multidimensional, is subject to people having access to education, but also access to affordable health care, for example.
When my wife got pregnant, prenatal checkups were required every month or two. But even our oldest kid was too young to be left alone without his mum. So we had to make a round trip each day. It was such a hassle. Although our kids are still young, we've already started worrying about their education if we continue to live here. The steel ladder helps, but it's still hard to get up and down the mountains. We've advocated the idea that education is the key to targeted poverty alleviation.
By the end of the 20th century, most Chinese people were well settled and supplied, and lived in an overall state of moderate prosperity. Today, Chinese people are no longer satisfied with meeting their basic needs. They long for a better situation in which to live and thrive. For villagers on this cliff, the only way to achieve this was to move down from its heights.
This is our new apartment. It's lovely, isn't it? It's really cozy.
On May 12, 2020, 84 households registered as living in poverty in the Cliff Village stepped down the steel ladder, leaving this place they called home for 7 generations. Their new homes awaited them just 72 kilometres away at the largest relocation settlement in Jiaojia County. Villager Musa Erbu paid only about 1/30th of the market price for his new apartment.
Welcome to our new apartment. It came with a coffee table and couch that the government also provided. This kitchen is a lot better than our old place. We used to cook on a wood-burning heath. Our house would quickly fill with smoke since the kitchen wasn't separate. We had a few sources of entertainment before. My son could only play with dirt, but it's different now. Conditions have improved. Once my son forms new habits, he can adapt to life here more easily. The schools here, including the kindergarten, are no different from those in a big city. Our kids get a better education at their doorstep. Our senior citizens also receive better medical care and public services.
In a top-down society and system which China is, when the leader is so committed to poverty alleviation, the whole country marches behind it and achieves this great good.
I think it was very context-specific in the sense that the specifics of, each county, each village, each community were sort of assessed through very thorough surveys and assessments, understanding basically where the poor are, what they lack, what they need to lift themselves out of poverty.
At the beginning of the 21st century, the Chinese government proposed building a comprehensively prosperous society, ultimately ridding China of poverty and enabling everyone to not only survive, but also thrive.
Since the beginning of reform, the contradiction was basically that the means of production of the country was not adequate to fulfill the material needs. And that was changed at the 19th Party Congress that says that the people not just have material needs, but want a better life. So you have to balance material needs with environment and with cultural things and various means of personal expression.
Broadening of the concept of Xiaokang to Quannian Xiaokang to include the three pillars of development, meaning basically economic, social and environment, is very well aligned with what we saw globally in the transformation from the MDGs to the SDGs.
I took a government-run vocation training course. Currently, those of us with an entrepreneurial spirit are planning to start a co-op and become professional, instead of conducting businesses casually like we used to. I'm a fan of extreme sports, and my job is already related to that, so I hope I can do better in the future.
The few who choose to stay atop the bluff will witness the transformation of their village by using its unique scenery to develop tourism. More tourists will climb the steel ladder to relive one of the tough battles that the Chinese government has won in its war on extreme poverty. Chinese people have always desired a better life. Now they're closer than ever, because China has paved the way for everyone to follow their dreams.
告诉我的未来会怎样？